everybody. This is another episode of Hallmark Eats here on HHMtv. I am Chris, your co-host as always, and with me today is one of our fantastic LOs from the Fort Wayne branch, Michelle Houlihan. Michelle, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
My pleasure.
So I had heard from a couple people that I wasn't really giving it the true experience without the apron, so here you go, guys. Apron it is. Michelle, we've got a lot of things out here today. Let's talk about them. Let's get into it. What do we have for our viewers?
So I'm going to do some basic brunch dishes that I like to prepare. Easy to do, and you can do them ahead of time. So
Awesome.
I find that to be helpful.
Yeah.
The first one we're going to construct is a quiche. I have mine with Gruyere cheese and bacon.
I had no idea, first off, that it was pronounced Gruyere.
Yeah.
So we're learning stuff already, guys. All right.
Yeah, I literally had to look it up. So, yeah.
Well, what's this one?
The other item is a pull-apart bread. So
Okay.
some people call it monkey bread,
Yes.
pull-apart bread. Something that lots of people like, kids especially.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet treat that you can have with your brunch or your breakfast.
All right, Michelle, we have our ingredients here for these brunch delicious treats, and I happen to notice some orange juice over there and a couple of bottles. So are we going to have some mimosas too with our brunch?
Absolutely. We're gonna round this out with a mimosa.
That's awesome, which is like the national drink of brunch, I feel like. I looked it up, and it's true.
I think it's the only reason I eat brunch.
I would agree. I would totally agree. So let's go ahead and get started in some of this stuff. And while we're doing it, let's talk a little bit about you, right? So you are MLO with Hallmark Home Mortgage. How long have you been doing it? And what is one of the things that you would tell a potential customer of yours as far as advice?
So I've been with Hallmark for 12 years. And as far as advice, I would say patience.
Okay.
In this market, you may not get your first offer, you may not get your second offer, but if you're diligent and you have your financing in order, you've got your pre-approval done, you've got your pre-approval updated. I often tell clients, as quickly as the rates and market is changing, if you have an interest in a home, send that information to me so that I can show you what that payment looks like,
Okay.
what your cash to close requirement would be, so that you're so comfortable at the point at which you see the home and you want to make that offer.
So at that point in time, you got everything in line. All you got to do is go in there, love the house, put your offer in.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So let's get started. What do we got to do first?
So I have an already made pie crust. If
Okay.
you are a great pie crust maker, you are welcome to make your own. I am not.
I'm not either. So I'm glad that we're doing it this way.
So Pillsbury is my savior.
Okay.
You're going to want this to be room temperature because it's a whole lot easier to work with. You're just gonna peel that and start rolling it out.
Okay.
Nothing has to be precise with these recipes, which is why I love them. But you're just gonna kind of put that right into your pan.
Okay.
And then you wanna start pressing.
Gotcha.
And you're just gonna press down and all around.
So this is essentially like an egg pie, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. And what's great about it is you can do savory as well. So instead of breakfast, you could do it for dinner. You could put broccoli and cheese, all kinds of different things. So we're gonna put our seasonings in. We have quarter teaspoon each of black pepper, salt, and cayenne pepper. Now, obviously, if you have a group that likes things spicier or not as spicy, you're going to adjust them accordingly.
Okay.
I'm just gonna whip that in till it's all incorporated. So on the bottom of your pie crust, you're gonna start adding all of your ingredients. So again,
Okay.
I've chosen just onion, Gruyere cheese, and bacon.
So Michelle, have you learned this recipe from anyone? Is this something that you picked up along the way? Tell me about it a little bit.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. I worked with Christy Baker, who is a real estate agent at Century 21 at Wells Fargo. So in about 2007, I think, we had some kind of a carry-in there and she made this and I absolutely loved it. So I stole it from her and I've been making it ever since. So thank you, Christy Baker, for this wonderful recipe.
Christy Baker. So we've all kind of seen the news, heard the news, rates are changing, rates are going up in a general sense. But what does that really mean for mortgages? Does that mean that they're automatically going to go up?
No, not necessarily. So what I find interesting is people always say, well, maybe it's not the right time to buy. Well, if you're not a buyer, then you're a renter. And if you're renting, then that interest rate's about 100% because you're not getting any return on it. So even though rates are higher, they're still historically low. So housing is still affordable.
All right, so we've got a nice little bed of bacon happening right now. I love the way this looks already, but we're not done yet, so
Nope.
What next?
So we're just gonna toss in your onion. I used a Vidalia sweet onion. That's just a preference. Now, some people really like red onion, whatever kind you prefer. And then we're gonna take our cheese. This is probably about a cup.
Okay.
Obviously, you can't go wrong with cheese. So if you had more than, I'm sure it's gonna be absolutely fine.
It's gonna be good.
So again, not so precise. So then you're simply gonna pour your egg mixture over your other ingredients. Get that
super simple.
nice and happy.
Nice and happy, I like that. I like that. Okay.
And this goes in the oven at 400 degrees for the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're gonna turn it down to 300 for 30 minutes.
Okay. All right, so phase one of our brunch is in the oven right now. We got that parnipulating in the oven. On to phase two, we got the pull-apart bread or the monkey bread, whatever you call it. So run us through this one.
Yeah, so this is already made dough for dinner rolls. And Rhodes makes it. I think Kroger also has a version of it.
Okay.
I am going to put this in the bottom of a greased and floured pan. This is really important to do this step correctly because you don't want it sticking.
So you're pulling apart the bread to make the pull-apart bread.
That's right.
Okay, got it.
So we've got half of our dough balls in. So we're gonna take this mixture, which is 1 box of butterscotch pudding and 1 cup of brown sugar.
Okay.
Here again, your preference. If you like dark brown sugar, great, use that. If you like light brown sugar, you can use that too. Really, really doesn't matter. So you're literally just gonna dump half of this. And it's gonna look like there's a whole lot of dry, but it gets incorporated, I promise. You'll see once it proofs up that everything kind of comes together.
Sweet. And it will be sweet because you've got brown sugar.
It will be, yes, absolutely. Okay, so that's about half. Again, we don't have to be super exact. This is cinnamon sugar. So I took a 1/4 cup of white sugar and I added 2 teaspoons of cinnamon.
Okay.
And here again, we're just gonna start moving that around. We're gonna do about half. Last we've got walnuts. So I've got 1/2 cup of walnuts here and I'm going to use half of those and that leaves our butter.
So Michelle, to you, what does a good buyer look like? What is that person gonna have ready for you when they make that call? What are they gonna have available for you? What happens there for them?
Yeah, so documentation is really simple. The pre-approval process itself is not intimidating.
If somebody's in a sales role where they're more of a commission-based employee, what does that look like for them?
Yeah, so commission income is absolutely something that we can utilize. We're going to want to take a longer look at commission. So what I mean by that is we're going to take a look at the last 12 to 24 months. So you will have needed to earn commission for at least 12 months for us to be able to use it.
Okay.
But we'll likely go back to a 24-month average.
Okay. So phase 2 is almost ready to go. To the oven this goes now, right?
Yeah, so in actuality, it will have proof. So you're gonna see it coming up to about the top of this.
Okay.
And for that reason, I would suggest putting a pan underneath it because you might get some spilling and we don't want your oven to get sticky.
No, we
so we're
don't.
gonna throw a pan under this and then we're gonna toss it in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes.
Okay. All right, Michelle, we have come to the end of our journey here for brunch. We've got our quiche and we have our pull-apart bread and we've got our mimosas. So it sounds like we're ready to get started here. All right, well, mimosas in hand, food on the table. Michelle, thank you once again for being a part of the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
Looks amazing. I just drank that like a complete savage and that's okay. Stay tuned to more episodes of Hallmark Eats, guys. We've got some great ones coming up. We've got some great ones right in front of you here. If you haven't checked them out yet, check out our series on Facebook. We're gonna be going out with more of them. We're trying to get Deb to be a part of it too. So Deb, you are tentatively on the list. You're penciled in. You can't say no now. So for Hallmark Eats and Hallmark Home Mortgage Television, or as we like to call it around the office, HHMtv, this is Chris saying go find the great things in your community and we'll see you next time. Looks so amazing. And that's it.